If you've never met Lee Miller, I'd probably say she was a badass. I think she was just consistently and constantly curious and incredibly creative.
The show is about American photographer Lee Miller's professional career. It's called A Photographer at Work, and it explores Lee Miller's career as really a professional photographer, both in New York but also in Europe, as she became a war correspondent at the end of the Second World War.
I'm Amy Bouhassen, the co-director of Farley's House and Gallery, which manages the Lee Miller archives. And I'm also Lee Miller's granddaughter. So Lee Miller had lots of different reinventions of herself. Her first job was a model, and she was actually the cover girl of American Vogue, and the equivalent of what would today be called a supermodel. She was a fashion photographer, she was a surrealist photographer, she was a World War II correspondent, she was also a gourmet cook, and died more famous for that than being a photographer.
So the first room is setting the tone for that main activity in the studio. And what you see is that use of the props and the lighting and what is specific to a studio portrait, and how this was the basis of her first career.
She was a fashion photographer, so she learned her trade in the studio. And when Vogue Studio during the war was bombed, that suddenly meant that she couldn't have this setup with the lights, these large format cameras. She had to take her shoots into the street. She had to be imaginative with some of the sets.
And so you see in the fashion section lots of magazine spreads, so you can see the type of photographs she would take and then how they would be published. You do have also some ephemera and some correspondence. She is a professional photographer. She does have to negotiate and compromise with her editors in terms of what is being photographed and how, and the lighting and the setting. So it's really kind of exploring what it means to be a professional photographer, but also becoming the head of the Vogue studio. What happens is during the Second World War, she is based in London and men are gone, they're at war. The problem is Vogue magazine doesn't have anybody to run the Vogue studio. And so because of her experience, because of her connections, they're basically hiring her to run the studio.
The bombed out images that she took in the earlier part of the war were actually commissioned by the British government, and it was a soft propaganda that was actually mostly designed to be sent over to North America to try and change the opinions of the Americans and also encourage the Canadians to continue to support the British in the fight against Hitler and the Nazis.
You know, she's photographing fashion models, but outside in London where, you know, the city had been bombed out. And so you do have the war kind of disturbing the fashion, and that creates a new style, a new type of fashion photography.
And Britain was in the war for 6 years. The first 4 years, she was the main photographer for British Vogue. And we've got this quote in the archive, which is from a letter that Audrey Withers, who was the editor of British Vogue, wrote back to American Vogue, where she says that Lee Miller is the main contributor and is carrying the whole of British Vogue's photography on her back. And when you track the amount of images she was taking for British Vogue, it's incredible.
The last section is about the war, and this is where the focus is really on one component of her work during the war, which is the concentration camps photographs of Dachau and Buchenwald. And so you see a selection of the prints that are in the archive, and then mostly Vogue magazine, because that last section really shows the relationship between the magazine and the photographer. The fact that, for example, she was able not only to shoot photographs, but also write the accompanying text that helped tremendously the magazine. But what you see when you look into the archive and when you see the correspondence and what people would say about her is that she was actually a very proactive, remarkable career woman who achieved a lot in a relatively short time.
She was a trailblazer. What I hope people take away with it is that you're never stuck in a box. She never allowed the patriarchy or society to dictate to her what she could and couldn't do. There's always a way of finding the next challenge and reaching that next challenge if you want to. I think she was very much about constantly reinventing herself and never allowing people saying to her, "You can't do this."